Hi and welcome to another BrettWeiss.com Excel screencast. Today's screencast is going to be on the MsgBox function in VBA. If you're watching this video on YouTube and you'd like this workbook to download and follow along the macro code, head over to BrettWeiss.com/Excel-screencast. There you'll find the MsgBox function VBA video. Click the Watch Video button, and underneath the screen you'll find the link to the workbook. Today we're going to go over two common uses of the MsgBox function. The first is to alert whoever is using the spreadsheet of an important piece of information, and the second is to use the user's answer to a MsgBox question to direct the workflow of the macro. So to start off, here's the MsgBox syntax. There are 5 arguments. Only the first prompt is a required argument. For all the details on the MsgBox syntax, you can head to this MSDN MsgBox help page on Microsoft's website. I'll bring it up here. It's got everything you need to know about the syntax and the arguments of the MsgBox function. So I encourage you to have a look at it. Now let's get started with our first macro. Our first macro illustrates the most basic use of the MsgBox function, and that's to tell the user something, be it an important piece of information or just alerting them that something has happened. So our first macro is very simple. It's just a cell selection macro that's going to let us know if we've selected one cell or multiple cells. So if I click on a cell anywhere in the worksheet and click cell selection, you see a message box pops up that says one cell selected. Very simple. If I select multiple cells, click the same button, you'll see our message box now says multiple cells selected. What's displayed here is the first argument in the MsgBox syntax. It's the prompt. We'll get into a couple other of the arguments used in the syntax in a little bit. So we'll head over to Alt 11 and just check out that first macro's code. It's extremely simple. It's just selection.cells.count. Counts the number of cells. If it's greater than 1, we have this message box displayed. If it's equal to 1, we have this message box displayed. Very simple. Head back to the worksheet. The next use of the MsgBox function that I find most useful when I'm designing a spreadsheet for others to use is to use the MsgBox to spot errors, alert the user to the error, and allow the user to make the decision of whether to continue or not to continue. I'll illustrate where this is useful in the following macro. It's called transfer daily sales data. What this macro does is, say we have the current day sales downloads from an external source, and we want to transfer that download into the historical sales worksheet. Now you can imagine how easy errors can occur. Say we forget to update these cells with the current day's totals, and then we paste over here anyways, we're going to paste duplicate data. However, sometimes we may miss a day of importing the sales data, and we may need to import a day's sales data that is different than today's date. So what we're going to do is first identify or trap an abnormal situation where we're trying to import data that isn't today's date, and then let the user decide if they want to continue with the macro or abort it. So first we're going to look at the code, and then we're going to go through it and test it in different situations on the worksheet. So the macro is called sub_warn_user. All it's going to do is determine if the data we're trying to transfer is different from today's date. The user is then going to be given 3 options: yes, no, or cancel. Depending on the option they choose, the macro is going to go in 3 different directions. If they choose yes, they want to continue, which is case VB yes right here, no code is going to happen within the select case statement or the if statement, and we're just going to go straight back down to make the data transfer. If the user selects case VB no, we're going to alert them of what to do and how to fix the problem. So find the current data and run again. If they click cancel, we're just going to exit the sub. So let's see how this works in practice. First time through, we go to our current day sales. This is the correct data. This is today's date, September 15th, 2011. That's the data we want to transfer. We'll head over to historical sales, hit the transfer daily sales data, and we have a message box saying our data transfer was successful. We look down, and sure enough, it was successful. But say today's date is September 15th, 2011, and for whatever reason yesterday, September 14th, somebody forgot to update the file. So say this data is missing, and we go to our external source and we grab the 14th of September sales data, and now we try to transfer in the data. Well, this is the error we want to avoid in normal situations. However, now that this is an abnormal situation, we want the user to be able to override our error trapping and proceed with the data transfer if necessary. So if we head back to the historical sales, and now we try to transfer the daily sales data, you'll notice that we have a new message box with a warning saying the date you are trying to attempt to transfer is not today's date. Do you still wish to transfer? If we choose no, it brings up another message box saying find current data and run again. However, if we do want to transfer the data, the user can click yes. The data transfer will be successful. What this allows us to do is maintain flexibility in our macro in case of abnormal situations while still trapping the error under normal circumstances. I encourage you to explore the message box syntax on the help page in either Excel or right on Microsoft's website to really get a feel of the different options that you can use to help out your user and clarify any problems that may occur with the data. I want to thank you for watching this Excel screencast on brettweiss.com. Have a great day.